Hello and welcome to the first episode of Otogi 2 Immortal Warriors. Before we get started, I just want to mention I love that opening. Such a cool opening with the water drops right where the O's are and revealing the title. The music, I love it. So, we are coming right off the heels of Otogi Myth of Demons, the direct prequel to this game. Do love that game, absolutely do, but I think this sequel uh, gives it a run for its money, if not flat out is a better game. And I think you will see why as we get into it. So, do need to make some adjustments here. Nothing here. First thing, I need to knock some of this down. Okay, we'll try it there. I'll see how this episode turns out. Maybe just a little. Maybe just a little less. There we go. I'm keeping English voices. I do like the acting in this game overall. If it was horrible, or if the Japanese version was amazing, I would switch it. But I do quite enjoy the English voices. Now, this game does have, it defaults as inverted controls, but it says invert all camera controls, which puts it to what is considered today as normal controls. So you move the camera or the analog stick left, you will look left here. If you move it up, you will look up, and so on. The default version is if you point your right stick to the left, you will look right. So I am going to warn you, I'm probably going to have to get used to this. I have been doing Otogi for so long now. I'm it's kind of ingrained a little bit, but I really do want to get back to normal camera controls, because every other game I'm playing right now has that, and the sooner I get back to that, the better. So I think that's it. We just need to pick a save file, which is going to be just the first one here. And then we should be able to get into the story and a few cutscenes. Before I get into it, I am just going to say real quick, first off, that there's going to be a story bit and a cutscene. I'm not going to talk during any of this. I'll let that all play out. We'll talk about it on the other side. But before that, I just do want to mention, if you do enjoy this game, sorry, not the movie, the episode of the video, what I do, I really do appreciate it if you show any love to the channel or to the video itself. It helps out a great deal. But I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I hope it comes across how much I love these games, especially this one. This one holds a special place in my heart. So anyways, with that being said, let's get into it, and let's create a save file and see what's going on in Otogi 2.
After 1,000 years, the Great Seal was broken. The capital fell prey to the demons of the outside world. However, the holy light of the orb restored peace. And the world was cleansed. Hope was restored. But, blinded by the light, nobody sensed the darkness. Biding its time to wreak havoc once again.
Seimei, I have come to take back what you have stolen. Demons. Damn you, Seimei. You dare try to trick me?
The demons have finally sensed my presence. I've bought enough time. Is it beyond here?
Okay, and we are introduced to a new character within the Otogi franchise, Seimei, who, as you can see, is a woman who wields Japanese fans. This is actually the prelude to the game. This is a area that, although when we pause, we can see we have an objects destroyed rating and a spirits, although the spirits is already at 100% under the map. This is not a level that we can, or an area that we can go back to. So this is more of just getting used to the controls, something to play around in. But this is not part of the main stages where it comes to, unlocking 100% of the game. I'm not sure if you can even, honestly, get 100% objects destroyed in this part of the game. I don't think you can for a number of reasons, but we still want to do this a little bit. And I'll tell you why right now. There are, similar to the original game, where there were secret goals to complete in order to unlock certain spells, weapons, or accessories. In this game, there are also hidden objectives in order to actually raise your statistics on the character you're playing. So, for example, one of those hidden objectives is to destroy 80 pieces of the environment. Now, even though this is not technically something we can go back to, we can destroy parts of the environment in order to increase Seimei's abilities. So it is kind of worth doing. We also want to get used to the character. So, with Seimei, I am mashing the light attack button right now. We can do 2 attacks with the light, and then we can do 1 extra one with either magic or the strong attack. She is not very combo heavy. She also doesn't have a huge range with her attacks. Also, the only way for her to actually do a strong attack is to do 1 light attack followed by a strong attack. Otherwise, this is actually a grab right here where she sort of does an uppercut. With that uppercut attack, what she's doing is if you grab an enemy and hold the strong attack button, then Seimei will actually grab the enemy and start sucking the life or the magic out of whatever enemy you're holding. This is a very, and I'll show you right here, this is a very magic-based character. So we're gonna just grab him, hold him, and as you see, in the bottom right, the blue fan that has some orange, it's slowly increasing the blue. That's because we are draining the actual magic out of this enemy. But we can also grab him and throw him as we just did there with the combo. But in order to attack these really difficult to destroy objects like this, we need to just attack light once and then strong attack. Now Seimei does also have something else that's unique to her. She's the only character in this game that can actually cast level 4 spells. There's spells that are very specific to her character. And I will show you one of those as soon as we find another enemy. Right now I'm sort of just destroying things. The game does get a little bit framey over in this area of the game. Specifically here, I haven't really seen it much elsewhere. And especially if we start running out of our magic power. So, what I'm gonna be doing here, I'm gonna be destroying as much as I can real quick before we move a little bit forward. Now, we don't have to do this again. This is not part of the main stages, but right there we got vitality and intelligence increase for Seimei just from destroying as much of this as we can. I believe at that point we had already destroyed 80 pieces of the environment. So we can do this at least a couple more times, or at least one more time, I should say. And that's something that will give us a good head start with her, because this level cannot be revisited with any other characters, including Seimei. Once we're done here, we're done. We're not coming back. This specific stage. And you'll see very soon what I mean. Okay, so we're gonna keep going here. Trying to destroy as much as we can in order to get a head start with Seimei. Now, let's see, we've got an enemy here, so there is our magic for Seimei. That is a giant centipede that came out and absolutely obliterated that crow enemy. I believe it's called a Yasha Raven. I could be getting the order wrong for those. But we'll read the creature description once we're done with this level and technically the first level of the game, since we can't read it right now. Now, if you don't care about doing all of this and sort of getting a little bit of a boost with your character, you can actually just run to the end of this, because it's not really going to matter for completion's sake. We could go there right now and complete this stage, but I do want to try to get as much of a head start as I can, personally. It's just my style, really. And then I'm just gonna throw it. Why not? Okay, now one of the differences between the prior game and this one is, in the prior game, in order to refill your magic power, which again is that fan with the blue flame, all you had to do was destroy an enemy. In this game, however, you actually get your magic back by collecting the experience that they drop. We just got another vitality and intellect increase there, which are the floating orbs that the enemies leave behind once they are destroyed, or in this game's terminology, purified. Once they are purified, they will leave behind these orbs. Some of them are gold. The rest tend to be, I believe, the actual experience. Okay. So another thing in this game that is quite a bit different from the previous one, once we actually get into the main levels, we will be finding ability orbs. So those are orbs that will increase our strength, our vitality, our intelligence, agility, I think, is one of them as well. And when you find those throughout the level, whatever character finds them, they immediately get a 5-point increase to the stat in which those orbs are linked to. After that, the orb is actually included in the in the shop, which you can purchase for any of the characters that we are going to be meeting here. So I've still got plenty of time, mostly because we've got a lot of life on Seimei. We have, what is that, 7 beads of life, which is attached to the purple string. As you can see, we ran out of magic, so now the large fan there is filling up with red. So that's kind of our timer until our next, or our first, in this case, health or life bead is destroyed. And that's gonna happen very soon here. And there it goes. So we have plenty of life on Seimei to go through this. We've got plenty of time. However, I don't think I'm gonna get another an intelligence and agility boost here. So I'm gonna go ahead and destroy this one last thing, and then we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the story.
This is the place. Suetake. Sadamitsu. Gintoki. Tsuna. crescent moon shatters the darkness of death. The blood of the faithful has soiled the ground. Rise from thy grave and wield thy sword once again. Return to the land of the living, Raikoh. Welcome back, ancient warrior. Let us be off.
And we are back.
Your generals are neither living nor dead. They have entrusted their souls and their fates to me, to protect you as you awoke from your slumber. We have been discovered. Now, show me if the stories of your strength are true. Destroy these demons and finish your atonement. The strength within the souls of your generals will regenerate your corporeal body. However, your body is but a temporary shell. And cannot be sustained in this world without magic. Never forget this.
Okay, so we are back with Raikoh, and I must say I like his character's design much more in this version, with the sort of yin and yang sort of look to the horns on his shoulder pads there. So what a cool cutscene, his generals sacrificing themselves to bring Raikoh back to the world of the living. I really enjoy that. Now, whereas Seimei, we already went through all of her sort of
demons still remain. You must destroy them all.
We went through all of her attributes and sort of what she's good at. Raikoh is very much a jack of all trades in this game. He's very good at everything, not great at anything. Now, you will notice this is the exact same area as the Prelude we just played through. However, once we get a little further in here, you will notice that all the destruction we took part in while playing as Seimei has been repaired. So it really doesn't matter what we did there outside of getting Seimei some extra ability points there. So this was the last part we destroyed just before.
Demons still remain. You
I'm aware,
must
Seimei,
destroy
thank
them
you.
all.
Now, something to note. So I already talked about getting... so there we go. Getting attribute points from sort of hidden agendas, I believe. And if I didn't, I apologize. But like destroying, well, I must have. So destroying the like 80 objects in an area will give us vitality and I think agility, or intelligence and agility. My apologies. Similarly, though, we can actually lose ability points in this game if we do some special actions as well. Most of those have to do with pretty much cheesy gameplay. Let's put it that way. So some of the ways, and there's only 3 actually, so let me just go through them all. The 3 ways to lose points in this game. The first one is if you, and we got vitality and intelligence here again for destroying objects, but I'm getting distracted. So the ways to lose. First one is just using your spell. Not charging it, not using it as part of a combo, but just sort of spamming out a spell and hitting enemies with that. If you do that so many times in a row, you will start losing.
Demons still remain. You must
abilities.
destroy them all.
Another thing is if you are damaging enemies that are, and you're not doing it as part of a combo. We just got an agility orb there as well. That will also lose you ability points in a specific area. So right there, I mean, he was technically part of a combo, but I'm not sure if that counts, since that was just a one hit. However, the last one is if, so an I jump is where you dash and you hit a button to gain some verticality, some height. If you do that while locked onto an enemy, 5 times I believe it is, you will also lose points. So the game is trying to discourage you from sort of cheesing and using the same tactics over and over. However, if you... Ooh, got a strength orb as well. If you are hitting enemies with combos, if you are hitting enemies with charged attacks, if you're getting knocked around, you actually increase your abilities. Now we're out of magic, and there's no enemies around right now, so we need to kind of hurry because he doesn't, Raikoh doesn't have a ton of health. Trying to destroy as much as I can while going through this to get him some benefits as well. There we go. So we need to pick up all this stuff here so we can
One demon.
yeah, we've
yet
only got one more
remains.
demon,
Destroy it quickly.
but we've got a little more time. So I want to destroy things to increase some of our attributes here. There's a life orb right there. We don't need to be too worried yet. Okay, let's go grab that real quick. On our way, might as well destroy some extra stuff. Okay, where is it? Where did I put the orb? There it is. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna try to get this bridge down here. However, we can't jump very high at the moment. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's try to find, there we go, our crow friend. And that is the first level and the Prelude together. I did forget to show off.
These demons are but a shadow of what is to come. They lurk in dark corners in the world below, waiting. Will you help us in our quest to destroy the demons? I believe you have reason enough to fight.
I did forget to show off Raikoh's spell. However, it's from the first one. I don't think anyone's gonna miss it too much. So we obtained a resistance orb, an agility orb, a strength orb. All of those will give us 5 points to the respective attributes from Raikoh because that's who we acquired them with. Our level has also increased. Now, in this game, there's a bit more information I believe that you can glean from the levels after we're done. It does show us the normal stuff with level, experience, objects destroyed, cleared time. We did get 200 bonus experience. I'm not sure where that's coming from, to be completely honest, but on the next page, it'll show us our max combo, how much gold we acquired, how many spirits we've defeated, how many enemies were defeated, an extra bonus XP for all of those things. And then on the last one, it will actually show how much vitality and intelligence, or strength, resistance, and agility we acquire from those hidden objectives. This does not include the points we get from the orbs that we picked up. However, as you know, we got the strength one, we got a resistance, and I believe it was an agility orb. So those will all have 5, whereas vitality and intelligence we got 4 and 2 from the destruction of the environment. Okay, let's go to the main menu. All this is saying is that you need to manually save your game, otherwise you're going to lose stuff, which we will be doing. Raikoh has acquired an orb and increased their abilities by 5, 5, and 5 for strength, resistance, and agility. New items have been added to the shop. We're going to go there. And a new stage has unlocked in Havoc Mode. So Havoc Mode is kind of a challenge mode. So if you are familiar with the first game, where when you went into a stage, there were hidden challenges within the stage to unlock certain weapons, accessories, or magic spells. Well, this game actually has a Havoc Mode that sort of takes that idea, but instead of making it hidden to unlock certain weapons or items, it makes it the stage. So it will tell you, you need to get this combo, you need to destroy this many objects or this many enemies, or you know, whatever is in it. And if you pass it, great. If you don't reach that, you actually fail the stage and you have to do it over again. We'll look a little bit into that in a minute. First thing I'm gonna do though, since we just cleared that stage, I do want to read to you the description of the creatures. So,
Rid the sacred cave of the gathering dead.
this was a peaceful grave. And the only creature in this was one that we are very familiar with from the very first Otogi, which is a Raven Yasha. Ancient demons with black wings who have lived in the mountains since their leader was killed. They slash at their enemies with their deadly talons. House of Soryu.
Rid the...
Okay. Now we are going to be going back to that, well, I am off screen, in order to destroy all the remaining objects and release the spirits. I do not believe there are any other orbs in that stage. So it shouldn't be too exciting of a time, which is why I'm going to do it off screen. Now, I'm going to go through the equipment for the 2 characters we have seen, which is Raikoh and Seimei. So for Raikoh, his weapon, as was the case in the first one, his starting weapon is the Soul Shrine. Raiko's clan's mystic sword, a legendary blade that has served Raiko's clan over the ages. It speeds up the wielder's life and MP regeneration. So, before we go any further here, each character in this game has their own very specific equipment or very specific weapons, rather. Not equipment, but weapons. And you unlock those within the stages. You can't purchase weapons anymore, and the characters cannot share them between each other. I can't put Raiko's blade with Seimei, nor vice versa could I put Seimei's fans with Raikoh. So with Raikoh, he can equip up to level 2 spells. However, he cannot equip anything higher than that. So for example, this spell is equipped on Seimei, which is what we used, and we can't use it. We will read that in a minute, but first we're going to go to Dragon Level 1. Costs 110 magic points. Member of the House of Soryu. I'm going to explain the magic houses as well, because it is different from the original game. I'm not going to do that right now. I will do that after we go through Seimei's magic. However, for the dragon magic, a spell that calls forth dragons of deep blue light. When summoned, the soaring dragons fly towards the caster's enemies, striking them down. We don't have any accessories, so we're going to go right over to Seimei. So, actually, before we do that, so as you can see, Raikoh is level 2. You can see all his stats in the sort of green or turquoise, emerald-looking bars there. So his best aspect is his physical attack, followed by his physical defense. Then his magic attack and defense are pretty even, and followed lastly by his magic points. If we hit Y, I can actually show you when his next level is going to be, which is in 2,300 experience points. And then all of his attributes are listed with numerical values. So he's got a strength of 173. Next highest is vitality at 142. Next highest is resistance at 131, followed by intelligence at 128 and agility at 121. So overall, he is more leaning it into physical strength and survivability, but these numbers aren't too far off from each other. He's a very well-rounded character and meant really for newcomers to the game. Now, Seimei, she starts off at level 10. She is the one who, she's a very powerful character. She's the one who brought Raikoh back to life with the help of his generals. And she's very powerful. Her magic attack is enormous at this stage in the game. So is her magic defense, followed by physical defense, and then very much lower, her magic power and physical attack are about the same. So with that, her weapon is called Nature's Balance. 2 fans named Solstice and Equinox. Comprised of twin fans. The blue Solstice heightens magic defense, and the crimson Equinox increases magic attack. So as she gets different weapons, they might actually increase different attributes. Same with Raikoh or any of the other characters. Raikoh's current weapon increases life and magic regen, whereas another one might just increase physical attack or physical defense. With magic for Seimei, now she can equip both of these. She can equip level 1, 2, and 4 level magic. And her spell that we showed was Cosmos, which costs 130 magic, which is very expensive. And it's a member of the House of Byakko. Now, if you are familiar with the first game or remember, the House of Byakko is traditionally the house that is associated with the Chimera spells. Those are still in here. I'll explain a bit in a second, but let's read this first. A spell that summons a centipede enveloped in purple lightning. It shoots forth countless crystal blades. Only Seimei can control this spell. Seimei is the only one in this entire game who can wield level 3 spells. Now, this is the level 4 spells, my apologies. She's the only one who can wield level 4 spells. Cosmos, I believe, is the level 4 spell for the House of Byakko. All the other ones, 1 through 3, are Chimera spells. Similarly, we will find a level 4 dragon spell that is not a traditional dragon spell. Now, the way magic works, since we're here, with Seimei and Raikoh, this is very different from the first game. So, whatever spell Seimei and Raikoh are currently equipped with, they are then sort of locked into the house of that spell they have equipped. Now, this works differently than the first game. The first game, the only thing the houses really had to do with anything was if you equipped, there are 4 houses, Suzaku, Byakko, Genbu, and Soryu. And each one opposes another. Byakko opposes Soryu, and Suzaku opposes Genbu. So, in the first game, if you were equipping Byakko and you were fighting Soryu enemies, the only difference it would make is if you hit them with your spell, it would do double damage. However, in this game, it works both ways. Not only can you do more damage, I don't know if it's double in this game, I can't say. However, not only can you do more damage, but the enemies will do more damage against you. Now, both Seimei and Raikoh, like I said, take on the house of the spell they have equipped. The rest of the characters are already stuck within a specific house, and we'll go over those when we get into the characters. But just know for now, each character outside of Raikoh and Seimei have their own specific house they are a member of, I guess you could say. So, gone through them, gone through the characters here. Now let's see what's in the shop. Now, as I sort of alluded to before, you can no longer buy weapons in the shop. It is just magic, accessories, and a new option called Develop in this game. We'll go through them in order here. So for magic, what we have available is, first off, the Phoenix spell, level 1, costs 120 magic, part of the House of Suzaku. A spell that calls forth a soaring phoenix that destroys all demons in its path. Nothing can stop its fiery flight. This is the exact same spell as in the first game, just as the dragon spell is. And then we have Chimera Level 1. Only costs 75 magic to cast this. House of Byakko. A spell that summons a chimera enveloped by lightning which attacks all surrounding enemies. Its reach is small, but any demon within its range will suffer. This, again, is the exact same spell as in the original Otogi. For accessories, we are starting off with one we are very familiar with. Mystical Beads. Magic bracelet that raises physical attack. Beads made from mountain stones are strung together to form this bracelet. The stone's power travels up the wearer's arm to raise weapon power. It is very expensive in this game, and it doesn't seem like it raises physical attack too much. However, if Otogi 2 is anything like the first one, every little bit is actually a pretty large increase. So you'll see results probably with this if we were able to afford it, which we can't. Next up, we have the Mystic Comb. Protects against silence. A comb said to belong to a princess who lived in the Netherworld. Its strange power protects the owner from attempts to silence their magic abilities. Now, this is talking about a princess. I don't know if that is in reference to the princess from the original game. I am not sure whether she lived in the Netherworld or not. It very well could be. This could be her comb. That's all the information we get on it. The next one I will probably mispronounce and will definitely be buying right now. The Verdigris Bell increases MP regeneration. A bell with green rust that has a tone that resonates with magic. The bell's timbre increases the owner's ability to recover MP. So what this will do is, as we are absorbing the experience from fallen enemies, this will actually increase the amount of MP or magic we recover, allowing us to stay within the world for longer. So this is very helpful to us right now. And the last one, Develop. So as I alluded to before, or straight out said, once we pick up orbs, ability orbs within the stages, strength orbs, agility, resistance, intelligence, and so forth, we will be able to purchase those in the shop, and that's where we do this. It's also a place where we can purchase mercy orbs, which increase our life, which are the yellow beads on the purple string. I don't want to purchase this for anyone we've played yet, so I'm not going to yet. But as you can see, we've got mercy orbs, then strength orbs, vitality, knowledge, agility, and resistance. So, the last thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a look at the stages, because this works differently than in the first game by quite a large margin. In the first game, everything was very linear. You defeat stage 1, you go to stage 2, then stage 3, and so on. And you could go back immediately after completing those stages to finish anything that you missed. This one does not work quite like that, but I will let Seimei describe it a little bit, and then I will go into more detail once she is done.
Do not forget. Missions cannot be repeated immediately. Sometimes you cannot access every area. Think carefully before choosing your warrior.
Okay, so this looks quite a bit different in a number of ways than the first game. So the first thing to know in this game, it is divided into, I don't know if you'd call it chapters or levels or parts, phases. There's a lot of different ways to describe it, but within those chapters or parts, we have separate stages. So we've got the Water's Edge, we've got the Sacred Grove, we have Forest of Havoc, which I'll get to in a minute, and Shrine of Idols. Now, what Seimei was just describing there was that this whole sort of setup is that in order to go back and replay these stages, or to play them with a different character, you need to complete this entire sort of chapter or stage before we can move on. And it's really, in this specific one, it's only these 3 levels: the Shrine of Idols, the Water's Edge, and the Sacred Grove. Forest of Havoc is where we have our challenges that I described earlier. So that's going to be available no matter what chapter or phase we're on. Now, as we go through this, it's best to think of this, these stages, as though you're a general sending troops to multiple areas at the same time. So what that means is if I send Raikoh to the Sacred Grove, I can't also send him to the water's edge because he's already in the Sacred Grove. He can't be in two places at once. So you need to plan which character you want to defeat each stage. Now, to help you with that, on the left-hand side here, you'll see a nice little list of all our characters with numbers next to them under this affinity, and that is a good guide to tell you where your characters excel at. So, for example, in the Sacred Grove, Kentoki is a poor choice for the Sacred Grove. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you'll have a harder time of it, most likely. Whereas, if you send in Sadamitsu, she will do quite well in the Sacred Grove. Similar with the Water's Edge, Raikoh and Suetake are not really good. In fact, no one's really good at this, but Kentoki is the best at this out of all of those choices. And then finally, Shrine of Idols. Sadamitsu is terrible at this according to the affinity. Suetake is going to be amazing. So, it's up to you how you want to do this. With the Forest of Havoc, everything is 0 because there are multiple stages within the Forest of Havoc, and it's supposed to be a challenge. You need to figure things out, so they're not going to tell you who's good at what. It's a repeatable sort of challenge where you can go in, make an attempt, learn from your mistakes, or not, if you get it right the first time, luckily. And you can just go through and sort out the challenges, and it's a fun time. Can be a little aggravating sometimes, but mostly it's a fun time. So those are the stages. That's how the game works now. Yeah, that is, I think, everything we're gonna get into for the very first episode of Otogi 2 Immortal Warriors. So thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're looking forward to this as much as I am, because I really do love this game. As always, any love you decide to show to the channel or to the video itself is always very greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great night, a great day. I hope you are all doing well, and I will see you in the next video. So long.